In today's video, we'll be seeing whether the RTX 3050 can be saved with DLSS. So yes guys, as you saw from the previous two videos, or at least the previous two videos ago, we tested the RTX 3050 and yeah, it was a bit underwhelming, wasn't it guys? The performance wasn't great, and in a lot of games at 1080p high, we weren't getting 60 FPS average, so it's a bit disappointing. I think it was Marvel Rivals, Cyberpunk 2077, Starfield, and also the Black Myth game, Wukong one. So again, for me personally, for £150 graphics card, or at least that's what it's selling for anyway, it's not really worth that money, but that's what it's selling for. I just kind of think that we need a bit more performance out of that for our money. So what the RTX 3050 does have up its sleeve, which is something to be said, so you know this is something which can kind of rescue it hopefully, is DLSS, which is basically a way to kind of up those frame rates using upscaling. And what it essentially does, it essentially takes the 1080p resolution, slightly downscales it, so it's actually rendered at a smaller resolution. So obviously the game can run faster when it's rendered at a slower resolution, and then it just upscales it to whatever resolution you're actually using, which is going to be 1080p in this example. So it's kind of a bit of a cheat way. It's just kind of a bit of new technology which is out there. I'm sure you're probably all aware of it anyway, what it is. So yeah, basically, let's see if we can get 60 FPS average, or at least somewhere near it, and we don't have to go all the way down to like performance DLSS, because there's different settings with DLSS, and we'll go through it as we go through the video. There's basically performance, kind of like a difference between performance and quality, and then it goes basically up in about 5 stages, but we'll talk about it as we get into the video. So here we go, and hopefully you can actually see my screen now, and then I'll be in the top right hand corner for this video. Hopefully it's not going to show too much over the actual screen, over the screen capture. I won't get too much in the way, but I can hide it if we get too much in the way. But anyway, we should be good. Basically, I'm just going to show you the specs of this PC, just so you know, just to confirm from what we did in last video, when we actually built this PC. So the specs are Ryzen 5 4500, 6-core processor, 12 threads. Should be enough for an RTX 3050 to support that. Memory is 16 gigabytes here. That's 2 by 8 gigabyte kit, and it's clocked at 3600 mega transfers. This is actually the Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM that I put in. Actually swapped out my Clev kit, which is actually running at 3200 megahertz. So we've got a little bit of an upgrade here, which is nice. We have a 1 terabyte NVMe drive, which is just running off, you know, for our games and what have you. We're plugged in with the Ethernet, so that's obviously good in terms of giving us a little bit more extra speed, although it's kind of a bit of a cheat. It's not technically, well, it's Ethernet in terms of it's connected with the actual cable, but it is one of those lot of mesh Wi-Fi mesh networks, so it's kind of running off the Wi-Fi, but the actual box is connected from the box through the Ethernet cable into the PC. So it's not going to be the full, like plugging it from the router straight to the PC, but lag and that shouldn't be the issue here. That's probably not going to. That's probably the worst. That's probably not going to be an issue for our worries. I don't think the internet usually is fairly decent here, so it should be fine. And our RTX 3050, which is the 6 gigabyte version, where it says dedicated GPU, memory 6 gigabytes, and we're running the latest drivers from what I know in terms of graphics card drivers, and I have tried to do all updates with Windows updates and what have you as well before starting this. So here we go, Marvel Rivals. We're going to change from borderless window to full screen. Not that it really matters, but we will anyway. So NVIDIA DLSS, and we're going to start off. Okay, so there's ultra performance, performance balance, quality, and ultra quality, which are the settings. So let's try balanced and see where we go from there, and then we'll probably have to move down a little bit. But anyway, we'll leave that where it is, super resolution sharpening where it is. And I think all the other settings are fine. Oh, yeah, graphics quality. We want to set. We're going to set graphics quality to high, and then yeah, balance DLSS. So that's fine. So here we are in game, and actually looking at here with DLSS balance, we're actually doing quite all right here. So we actually are getting quite high up. This has actually made really quite a difference. Now, yes, there was a bit more action there on the screen, and we did drop below the 60 FPS there. So we will have to see once the action kind of hots up here where we're going. Yeah, so it is fluctuating quite a lot. So we're getting about 70 or so. Let's just see where we're going. Again, I don't really know how to play this guy, so it is what it is. I do think when more action comes on the screen, we're probably going to drop down from our 60 FPS. It's actually holding up not too bad there, getting into the 70s or so. So as you can see there, we did drop down into the 60s or so, and at times it did get a bit lower. But yeah, we actually do not too bad there, guys. So let's just change up the settings here. Let's just switch it to quality and see where we go from there. So DLSS is actually really doing us well here. Like I say, I think when we switched it from, I'll switch it back to non-DLSS in a bit. Still about 60 or so there. Again, I'm really rubbish at this game, guys, so I do apologise. Anyway, so let's go down from our display. Now let's just turn DLSS off, okay? And we'll just go back to there and just see what difference that makes. So surprisingly, it's actually doing not too bad. I do think the faster RAM is actually helping us quite a bit here, actually. Going from that 3200 megahertz to 3600 megahertz. I do think we're kind of going okay. But there is drops into the 40s there, as you can see, guys. So as you can see there, even now dropping into sometimes even the 30s there, when the action really hots up, yeah, it does drop a lot off. But yeah, as you can see, that's actually having quite a big difference. DLSS really is helping us here, so that's great. Let's go really ultra performance, and let's just see from there where we go. Yes, the ultra performance really is going to kick us up there into the hundreds there. I mean, we're well into the hundreds there. So even when the action hots up, we should probably only go down to like 70 FPS or so. Again, sorry for the gameplay. I don't really know how to play this game, but anyway. No, it did drop down to about 50 or so there at one point. So there is a bit of drops here and there, but certainly DLSS really is helping us out here. So let's move on to the next game because I'm a bit rubbish at this one. So, Cyberpunk 2077. Now let's jump into those settings that I've initially set. Now I did set that to high, but it's gone custom now because I've changed some things. But anyway, DLSS is on, and we're in the transform model, and it's unbalanced at the moment. So hopefully, once we jump in game, there we go. So 60 FPS, there we go, for 60 FPS average, which is great. As I said before, when we're using non-DLSS, I think we were about 45 or so. In fact, actually, let's just switch straight to the non-DLSS just to give you an idea. So we'll just turn that off. Yeah, so really in the 40s there, I mean, kind of mid 40s, I would say. We're kind of hovering around here. In fact, it's actually in more built-up areas that's getting below 40. So that's pretty bad. So go back to DLSS on. Going to try balanced again. And we are about 60 FPS there. So that's actually has made quite a big difference. Again, we won't get involved in too much here. We'll just go around the streets and stuff. This is the... is it City 70? No, that's Half-Life. Which one's this? Well, I've forgotten what all this is, but anyway. So let's actually just go into let's just go DLSS. Let's just go right down to what's that? Yeah, ultra performance is what we'll have. So this is getting into the 70s, 80s there almost at one point. But even then we do we did actually go down even lower there than 60 FPS. So the visual quality has taken quite a bit of an impact here. So that is obviously the trade-off. In actual fact, I don't think the trade-off in quality is actually worth it here, if I'm being honest. Let's actually move up to DLSS performance and see if that improves things enough. I think balance was the best one personally. Actually, although saying that performance is this is actually quite all right. You know, this wasn't ultra performance, so it wasn't like really blurry, but you know, it's not too bad. So yeah, just been going around here for a minute or so, and yeah, pretty decent here on performance mode. I mean, this is probably where you want to play it, 1080p high performance mode. Maybe you could go down to 1080p medium and maybe play it at DRS balance mode. That might be a better option as well. It's up to you. But yeah, I would actually say this is playable at this resolution. It's been okay so far. So we've jumped into Starfield now. Our graphics preset is high, and let's go down to the upscaling option now. So we want DLSS. Let's try balanced first of all. So yeah, this is 1080p high balance, and yeah, this is going to be a hard game to run, guys. 40 FPS average here. Wow, that's not good, guys. I'm pretty disappointed about this, I must admit. Again, it's Starfield, so yeah, enough to be said about that. But anyway, so obviously back into the settings. So, well, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go down, guys. In fact, let's just go right down to ultra performance. Yeah, we're going there, guys. Yeah, so don't know why, but just Starfield is really are having problems with Starfield. Only about 46 or so there. Let's go back in. I think actually we'll have to go just down to the graphics preset of medium, because just high is just too much for this graphics card, unfortunately. And then our upscaling options are DLSS set to balanced. And it doesn't get much better, guys. I kind of give up with this game. I don't know about you guys. Can't even get 60 FPS at 1080p medium with DLSS balanced. What's up with that? This should easily run. Yeah, just don't know what's up with that. So we were at balance, and we're now going to go to performance and just see what happens there. And again, not even 60 FPS again, guys. Wow, this game really does challenge me, I must say. That's something else. I mean, obviously, yes, with Starfield, you kind of know that an RTX 3050 isn't going to get the job done, and that's one thing to say. But when you add in the DLSS sort of options, you kind of think that this should really help, but no, it's not really doing a lot. So ultra performance, let's give that a go. And yeah, I mean, you can see straight away the image quality is really decreased. But again, we're not even getting 60 FPS again, so bit of a fail with this graphics card and this system on Starfield. But again, no one's really buying a 3050 to play Starfield, are they? In fact, no one's really playing Starfield at all anyway, so that is what it is. So Black Myth Wukong, the graphics are set to high preset, and let's go Oh, there we go. DLSS and okay. So for Black Myth, we have this kind of slider thing. So let's set it to balance first of all. So that's about 56 there. This is actually pretty poor. We're only about 40 FPS or so. So yeah, I don't know what's happened here. I think we're actually getting better than that before even running natively. So that's a bit odd. So we'll knock it down to ultra performance and see where we go from there. So that's helped, guys. You know, we're into the 50s or so there, so that's not too bad. But again, pretty disappointed from a 1080p high. It's a fairly modern game, this one, but 1080p high, can't even do 60 FPS average. A little bit disappointing there. So actually, what we'll do now is we'll just take we'll take everything off. So let's turn everything off and see what happens there. Yeah, so running it natively, it's really bad. It's only about 30 FPS or so, 35 or so. So pretty disappointing here. Yeah, so guys, as we could see there, DLSS helped a little bit, but again, wasn't superb, was it, guys? Again, you can't really help. You know, it's just a poor card, really, in terms of the graphical performance, unfortunately. So it can't really be helped that much. But DLSS can give you that little bit extra in games, and if you muck around with the settings enough, maybe go down to medium or even low, and then muck around with like your performance settings. So DLSS, you know, go DLSS performance rather than balanced and what have you. You can just about squeeze out 60 FPS in most titles. So as you can see, it is okay. This graphics card isn't that bad, especially for the power output that it is. I think it's actually all right in that sense. But no, I mean, obviously, if you're serious about playing, you know, modern PC games, this isn't the card for you at all. So yeah, but you kind of probably knew that already. Now, next week's video, we'll actually hopefully have a new case for this PC, and we'll actually show you that new case. Now, I'm not going to contribute that to the month two £250 build. That's not going to be part of that. I've kind of decided it's going to be a separate thing. I've got other ideas for that 250 quid that we're going to spend, but we'll obviously spend that once payday comes and what have you, and then go from there. So overall, I hope you got something out of this video, guys. I know it's a little bit different, a bit odd than what I usually do, but obviously just trying to make a few more videos from obviously the components I have, because I don't have a massive budget to be able to spend loads and loads of money on components all the time and be able to get new components for every single video. So I've got to be a little bit creative with my videos. But hope you like this, guys. Please leave a like if you did. Please comment on what you thought of the video, and please subscribe to see my future videos. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.